lucky that when I came through, I spent like 3 years with Rob and Ray, Smith and Mighty, and they were two very, very conscious guys. So I picked up a lot of the ethics about music, about, you know, how you were supposed to be in the world from those guys there, and they were very, very, very down to earth. And so I learned, do you know what I mean, about a lot of things that stood me well, do you know what I mean, throughout the music business. And I often think about them guys when I'm doing certain things, like, yeah, how do those guys do this, you know what I mean? And it brings me right down, because, you know, it's hard to find grounded people in the business. It's hard to find people that actually are honest in the business as well. And that's kind of what I pride myself on. I tell people what I think, I help when I can, and if I can do something I will, and if I can't I say no. And so those certain basic things are kind of what we're trying to instill, even within our own group, in ourselves, you know, because we need constant reminders of that. And then, you know, we're trying to express that on another level, and on our business level as well.
Yeah, because I've found sort of, you know, being around sort of up and coming people in the music business, the main things people are lacking is a work ethic and sales and marketing skills. Because you don't, you know, if you're a creative person, you kind of look at sales and marketing, you think, I don't really want to get involved in that. But you seem to put quite a high sort of value on entrepreneurial, like business skills. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, we can't afford to just be, you know, these super creative people and not have business understanding. You know, that's one of the things that I've learned about studying this whole thing the last 5 or 6 years, is like, you can't have a situation where everyone wants to be the head chef. Someone needs to be the dishwasher. Someone needs to, you know, be the someone who introduces everybody. You know, everyone needs to have a separate role, and when the team has those separate roles, everybody works faster. Do you know what I mean? You need to figure out what your role is and do that, and then do that the best you can. And so just being like, for me, I was solely focused on being creative, and my business side lacked. You know, I wasn't very good at financing. I didn't understand marketing or promotion. Do you know what I mean? And I shied away from those terms. Studying it made me understand that for me to do A, I need to learn how to do B, C, and D. There's no point in not understanding those. If you're going to do that, you need, even if you don't want to do it, you need to have a basic understanding of it, to the level that you can at least just go online and just do a little bit of self-promotion, you know, or at least be able to fill out a tax form, or at least, you know what I mean, real basic stuff. You don't need to master it. You just need to be able to be confident when you're having a conversation with someone, so when they're telling you about certain things, you can at least understand and engage in a conversation. And that's kind of crucial as well. Yeah,
because it does seem to me that a lot of talent does get wasted just because there's people in their bedroom, they're making some really good stuff, but no one ever hears it because they can't promote themselves properly. So would you say that Rebel Instinct is potentially a good outlet for those kind of people who maybe have got the creative talent but need some guidance on the marketing side of things?
Yeah, well, that's the other side of the business. Like the other company that I've got is called ILS, Intuitive Learning Systems, and that is basically about teaching the other side of the coin. So Rebel Instinct is where you go once you've got your creative idea down and you want an outlet for it. Bang! Rebel Instincts can give you the platform, promote you around the world. ILS is where, if you haven't got an idea but you're really creative, we'll help you. We'll shape your ideas. We'll show you how to market yourself. We'll show you, you know, what your message is. We'll show you how to use social networks. We'll tell you about management. We'll tell you about business. We'll tell you about spirituality, consciousness. Do you know what I mean? Awareness, social entrepreneurship. That's what ILS is about. It's a training module. It's about going from ground zero right up until your full potential. We train you for 2 years. Well, that's the program. We've got a 2-year program. We've got a 6-month program. We do a 2-day workshop. I do a 2-hour session. And it's just about breaking down the fundamentals of what it is to be, not just in the music business, but any creative endeavour. It doesn't matter what you want to do. You could be a postman. You know, I did a session yesterday. There were between 14 and 18-year-old kids. One of them wanted to be a police officer. And so the program works. It just basically helps you get at your ideas, see it on paper, and then gives you the action steps to go to what you need to do next to reach your goal. And so it's a constant set of tools, set of programs that you do constantly over and over and over again, you know, and then once you're happy with phase 1, you complete all your tasks, then it evolves into the next thing. It's a multi-dimensional platform, and it just keeps building and building and building, and it's based on, you know, spiritual practices, it's based on business modeling, it's based on NLP, EFT, you know, and all the best of what came from the ancient knowledge systems as well.
Yeah. So, well, yeah, when you mentioned sort of spirituality and sort of ancient knowledge, I mean, is that any sort of particular kind of particular religion, or?
No, I mean, through my research, there is only one. It's called spirituality. It's called consciousness. It's called the universe. Everything else is everyone else's interpretation of that system. And so you have all these different systems, but they're all just translations of the same thing. There's only one human race, and there's only one planet Earth, and there's only one universe. So I don't care what you know. I don't care what anyone else calls it. We're all translating the same thing, but from our different perspectives. So we can call it whatever we want. You can put any tag on it, but whatever belief it is, the fundamentals are the same. You believe in fairness and justice. You believe that there's a creator who created you. You believe that that creator is about love and loving the people, and that. Do you know what I'm saying? So you can go through any of those religious systems, or any of those spiritual systems, and they all say the same thing. So that just basically tells me that we're all studying the same thing, but from different points of view.
And do you think spirituality is important to be a creative person?
I think you need to understand who you are. Do you know what I mean? You can't be human and not be spiritual. That's the problem. That's the problem. You know, we haven't been taught about it. So everyone says, you know, oh, I'm not spiritual. It's like the spiritual concepts created the universe. You cannot get away from that. If you're not spiritual, then you're not human, and you're not in this universe. And if you don't believe that, step out of it. And if you can't, then you are part of a system that we all exist in. You know what I'm saying? And that system is built on interconnectedness. And you get the butterfly effect, you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of like what we're all about. And my thoughts come out of my actions. And so, you know, if you cannot control the way you think, you're going to have behavioural problems. You know, the term psychology comes from a Greek word. It means psyche, and that psyche is an Egyptian word that basically breaks down to spirituality. So basically, psychology is the understanding of the spiritual aspect of yourself, which breaks down again to control behavior modification. So basically, that means if you could control the, you know, I call it the operator, the driver. If you could control the driver and tell him where to go, you're going to be okay. And if you can't control the driver and tell him where to go, you're going to have problems. And so it just comes down to, so the answer to your question is spirituality important in music? Hell yeah! If I can't control this, how am I going to, you know, be focused on making music? How am I going to be, you know, disciplined at getting up at a certain time? How am I going to be focused at doing my tasks, doing what needs to be done? Do you know what I'm saying? Those things are about controlling your behaviour. Those things are learned habits. You look at successful people, they're not any better than anybody else. They're just more disciplined, they're just more focused, they're just more action orientated. And these things you're not born like it. You have to learn these things over a period of time. What's learning? Creating a new habit. So what's creating a new habit? It means doing something continually over and over again. So how do you do that? That's by being disciplined. It's by being focused. And how do you do that? It's by changing what's going on in there. Actually, the whole body system is the mind. So it's what's changing what's going on over there. So yeah, spirituality is the understanding of controlling your behaviour.
So is there a political aspect to what you try and do with Rebel Instinct and ILS? Because obviously a lot of people get taught to conform to certain ways of thinking through the media, and therefore and it's the same kind of media that promotes things like Britain's Got Talent and X Factor and things like that. And I mean, I personally consider it all part of the same sort of control structure. And so if Rebel Instinct is going to be a reaction to, and trying to come at things from a different angle from those kind of things, would it have a political aspect to it?
Well, there is a political ideology, and you know, it's about really, you know, it's about reigniting that social movement, what we had back in the early, you know, what the original Labour idea was, you know what I mean, about some kind of equality for all the people. And I just think that stems back to just a real simple idea about what it is to be human, really. You know, excuse me. You know, what it is to be, about, you know, our humanity, do you know what I'm saying? And if we can just figure out a way that we can live in a certain way without impacting the environment, without impacting other people, then you know, we can use music as that platform to start talking to people about what our commonalities are, instead of using it as something to split us apart and you know, the old divide and conquer scenario. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to focus too much on that, because I want to make the point of what we're doing is like, music can change lives. Music can have the impact that people are looking for to really make a difference, and that's kind of where we're coming from. And the music and the movement really is basically that type of awareness. You know what I'm saying? Have that understanding of what you are. You know what I mean? Understand that you can make a difference. You know what I mean? And understand you are very powerful in that way, and then use that tool, use that as an effective way to enhance yourself and your environment.
Yeah. So you describe it more as sort of individual and social change rather than political.
But I think that leads on to it. You know, I think that most people would say, oh yeah, let's go and make somebody else change the system. It's like, no. You change the system. Change yourself first. Understand that what you can do. I mean, you're the one who votes. You know what I mean? You're the one who gives these politicians power by voting. So we're actually consenting to what they're actually doing to us. So that's the confusion that we're going through. Politicians are rubbish. No, you're voting for them. You're voting for them. And I disagree with the idea of voting for the lesser of two evils. That's pathetic. I think that's really pathetic. I think it's like, forget that, understand what we're doing, understand the system, then we can change it. You know, I saw a really great video last night, you know, about the whole thing about common law was coming in now. That's fantastic. Real ordinary people being able to defend themselves against the system. Now that's power. When I watched that, I was like, yes. That's not people lobbying governments, that's not people marching down the bloody road. You know, that's just like a red flag in front of a bull when you do those things. Like, here we come. We're ignorant, so we're gonna apply for a permit to march. We're gonna apply for a permit to disagree with what you're doing. Like, come on. That's how low we've sunk into it. But these cats are like, no, we're going to take the fight right to you. We're going to break down the law that you've given us, and we're going to show that the fallacy of it. We're going to show you that we understand what the straw man is, and we're going to understand you. We're going to show you that we understand what the common law is, and they're winning. They're winning, and that is what, to me, that's what a democratic society is built on. And we can even go one further and talk about building a republic. You know what I'm saying? But that's probably
well, there's a movement of sort of libertarians in America who are looking at creating a community with no law whatsoever, because, you know, people do think that just human morality will overcome, and everyone does know right from wrong, and if you just create a community, you don't need oppression and repression. You just let people be who they need to be, and society will order itself.
You know why they created the law and the army? It's to protect the country that steals from someone else. So if I come over to your country and I'll take your resources, that's why I need an army. So when you come back to get them, I can defend you. I can fend you off. And then I need a police force to enforce my laws on you. I don't need the police force aren't here to protect me or my rights. They're here to enforce someone else's laws. And there's a big fundamental difference, and that's what we don't understand about language. And that's why we need to understand what common law is and the difference between the two. Do you know what I'm saying? There's the commercial law and there's common law, and they're two different things, and we've been made to think that they're the same thing. And that is where we're ignorant, and that's why they keep laughing at us, because we don't understand the law. So we go into their indoctrination systems and we just learn their bullshit mediocre education system, and we come out like dodos. And then we complain when society isn't working for us. We're not even trying. We just keep blaming other people. That's the response. That's where we're at. This is what this whole thing is a response to. It's like, come on, take some responsibility. The knight on the white horse is not coming.